All right, let's look at number 5. I've already gotten started a little bit. We have to write an equation that represents the data in the table. Okay, that equation being y equals mx plus b, which is slope-intercept form. Okay, so the slope, the m, which I will do in this color. The m is the change in y, right? M equals slope, which equals the change in y over the change in x. Okay, so how is the y changing? The y is changing by 5 every single time, and the x is changing by 1. So 5 over 1 just means 5 divided by 1, so the slope is just 5. So you've got the slope, okay? It's just how y is changing on top of how x is changing. Okay, so let's go ahead and write down at least what we have for now. So right now we have y equals 5x. Okay, that's all we have. We have the slope. Y equals 5x. All right, so now let's look at the y-intercept, or the b. Okay, so for a line to cross the y, the x has to be 0. So we have to find out what the y is whenever x is 0. Okay, so the rule, the x was just adding by 1, right? Well, if we start at 1, we actually have to go backwards, right, to get to 0. We have to go minus 1. Okay, so we do that. Now x is 0. And then the rule for the y was just adding by 5 each time, right? Well, if we go backwards 1 time to get to the 0 of x, we also have to go backwards 1 time for the y, okay? By just doing the opposite. All right, so we were adding 5 to the y. We'll go backwards and just take 5 away. So 6 minus 5 is 1. Okay, it's a positive 1. So when x is 0, y is 1. So that means it will cross the y-intercept at plus 1. Okay, so that is y equals 5x plus 1. I know that can be a little overwhelming, I'm sure. Number 6, the students in Mr. Gillis's science class are ordering the materials they will need for a science experiment. Okay, great. Each student will need a bag of bulbs that costs $3 and a planting pot that costs $1.50. Okay, if x represents the number of students, in Mr. Gillis' science class, write an equation that can be used to find y. So if we're finding y, that means we're y equals. Okay, whatever you're finding, it's what's equals. Y equals. So how much would one student cost? How much would one student cost? We got $3 and $1.50. Okay, so you just have to add those up to find out how much one student is. It's $3 and $1.50. One student is $4.50. So if there was only one student, it would be $4.50. Y equals $4.50. Okay, but we don't know how many students there are, and what does it tell us in the problem that represents the number of students? X represents the number of students. So $4.50 per student. So Mr. Gillis is curious, I wonder how much is this all going to cost? Okay, so you would just do, if there's 10 students, you would do $4.50 times 10, and that would equal your y. Okay, it would be $45 actually. But your answer is actually just the equation. Okay. Number 7. The graph of the line y equals 2x minus 2 is drawn on the coordinate grid below. Make a table of ordered pairs that contains only points on the line. Okay, so we are going to make a table, an XY table. All right. And so let's find some points. They actually already have little black dots on them. So it doesn't matter where we start. We can start, let's start with this one right here. Okay, so we go -2, 6. Negative 2, negative 6. Now let's do this one. I'll go negative 1, negative 4. Let's do this one right here. 0 and negative 2. Now let's do this one. That is 1, 0. Now let's just do one more. That is 2, 2. 2, 2. There you go. Number 8. Logan and McKenna are given the task to write an equation with a constant of proportionality of 3. Logan's equation is y equals 3x. And Megan's equation is x equals 3y. Who is correct and why? Logan, because we multiply the x. Period. We divide the y. Okay, that's why she is incorrect. All right, I'll get the rest on another video. I gotta go to class.